Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And as I'm sure you guys are aware, yesterday it was absolutely kicking off on the timeline. The Meltdown was going on left, right and centre. Everyone was getting involved and the players pretty much decided we've got to take these storylines and these dramas into our own hands. Crimsix and TJ, Simp and Co popping off as a result last night. Very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting that like button, it's the best thing you can do. Top of the channel recently, people. And please do subscribe as well if you have not yet already. Firstly, this is the COD League. This is what they tweeted out. We talked about this yesterday, and some people found this up and were discussing it on the timeline. The three essential pillars represented in the Call of Duty League logo: professional, amateur, community. Of course, you could well argue where are two of these, and even where are three of these, right? Because at the end of the day, the professional league hasn't even started, and we are at the turn of the new year already, with the game coming out a couple of months ago already. So yeah, quite remarkable scenes, frankly. And well, this from Methods. I also think I mentioned this kind of thing a couple of days ago, with the dog is trying to sip his tea, but everything's on fire around him. This is how a lot of, I'm sure, the pro players feel at the present time in the Call of Duty world. So, maybe someone is listening, as we talked about earlier today. Hopefully, at least that would be the case. This I also wanted to mention, though, because I thought this was quite remarkable from Zav. This is kind of one of the other public-facing guys, formerly of the Call of Duty League. The ex-PR manager from the CDL comment on unwillingness from teams and players to participate in media and marketing exercises. So this kind of goes along with what we really talked about earlier today. The fact that some of these players, like and organizations especially, haven't really been doing the legwork to actually make this scene become what it could be and creating the content that might be required to being played. And these guys are responsible for personal and community growth alongside the CDL. It's a shame to see opportunities be turned down. So as Zav says, in my experience, the league would get more visibility if there's more participation overall. When I was there, I often had to convince teams to do media. One team last year rejected an opportunity with Sports Illustrated because they were too busy. Only so much I could do. This is just the PR side. Doing media wouldn't solve everything necessarily, but this is quite remarkable. I know that the FaZe guys, like FaZe Clan in general, had something going on with Sports Illustrated last year, so I don't know whether it's like Atlanta FaZe turned this opportunity down or whatever. Of course, that's speculation, but still, at the end of the day, seems like some of these organizations and players aren't maybe as willing as they need to be to, create the scene and create the interest that, this scene actually needs to continue, because we're not getting much help from the league themselves, as clearly we've seen earlier today and previously as well. This also just kind of reminisce on some previous times, as Chrome points out. What a time this was. Scump himself at 100k viewers on a 2k tournament 1 month after the game was released. I'm pretty sure he got hosted by Ninja here, but even without the Ninja host, he had like 70, 80k viewers streaming a 2k finals like a month into Black Ops 4. Just remarkable. This is a beautiful time, but obviously not the case anymore, right? The pre-franchising era, things have changed a fair bit since then. Now, this is what Crimsix has to say. I think a very fair point, frankly, on the state of the ecosystem. It's obvious that the people at the very top of the COD franchise are not interested in making a great video game. Annual releases are an illusion, blatant reskins to sell more product. They're only focused on making it good enough to keep the cycle going. That's the real problem. I think this is a very fair issue, really, because I think a lot of people talk about the fact that the S&D scene has died off, people aren't making so much content. I think really that's a symptom rather than the problem itself. I think the problem is the game just straight up isn't good enough. If we had Black Ops 3 back again, I think that a lot more content would be happening. The search and destroy scene would be popping off to a great degree. Not to say that would fix all our issues, but it's certainly something that would help, right, actually having a good game. So it feels like the long-term future, if the CDL actually wants to be successful, is probably just making COD Mobile, but for an actual PC game, right, and having a consistent game year by year that you make some updates to the maps or some weapon changes and stuff. We've been talking about this in Call of Duty for quite some years, and it's never something that I've been too keen on, because I think that the yearly releases helps keep the ecosystem alive year on year. But if the yearly releases are just so bad, then please give us some good game remastered, right? And I think that really Crimsix is touching on some of the key issues. But of course, what I think the players kind of realized here is, okay, look, if we want to keep this scene alive, we're going to have to take some of these rivalries into our own hands. So last night, the fight was definitely popping off. There was a few very entertaining clips that came out. I'll share a couple of them for you guys here in just a second. I'm sure we might be talking about some of these topics, though, for the days to come. But Crimsix and Censor, the idea was they'll go in like a head-to-head debate against, in the state of the Call of Duty scene right now. And a few very interesting things were said. Of course, there were some shots thrown left, right, and centre, as you guys are, not exactly surprised about. And Censor was hitting some pull-ups. He was doing some jumping jacks. I mean, this guy's absolutely out of control. Just peak Call of Duty entertainment, to be honest, with this guy on the stage. But there also was some talk from Crimsix about the state of the league in general. But also, we had a few words for TJ Halley, which I'll share for you guys here in just a couple of seconds. When I'm effectively calling him a coaster, someone who doesn't really care about wins and losses, just kind of going along with emotions. And TJ had a response we'll have a look at just after I share the clips. But also, Doug Martin reveals the situation about the CDL. I'm pretty sure the head of the CDL right now is a guy called Daniel Say, and he's the former NBA 2K League executive. And apparently, he's so far removed from the guys who are actually calling the shots on Activision that he basically has no say on on changing anything within the CDL.
So people say, dude, when I see dumb say CWL greater than CDL, shut the up, dude. Like, what the are you even saying? Okay, because it's not. I really do not think it's anyone in CDL. It's whoever the is above them, right? I know we've all been sitting, dude. My camera's shaking and shit because I'm so
you're so turned up right now, bro. But I'm
pounding my desk like a dictator, right? So let me ask you guys this, right? Because this is what I believe. There's someone way the up there, you know, in the Knights of the Round Table type.
There's multiple for sure.
That prevents all of us, competitive COD as a whole, to not have nice things. There's two kinds of players, right? There's ones that are coasters, TJ Halley, and there's players who are actually trying to win. You know what I mean? And it's the players that are the coasters. That's who Doug is talking about.
Well, hold on.
TJ Halley.
Bro.
Be better.
Clarify though.
What does a coaster mean?
I'm blunt, but you're next level.
A coast like a.
What does that mean?
Like winning and losing isn't.
I'm getting texts in real time from someone who's very reputable, very high up, and they don't want me to mention their name at all. But I'm going to read these texts to you guys right now. And this is someone who's very credible. They said, I'm going to read them word for word here. He said, I bet you don't even know who runs the league now, and neither did I until I asked someone at Activision today. And then he said, FYI, the dude came from NBA 2K, a failed esport, and lived in New York City until a week ago. You can't do anything that matters in COD unless you live in LA or are in the buildings at Activision, IW, and Treyarch. He said you can't do anything in COD esports unless you are connected to the actual game/IP and actually know the devs and the Activision leadership. Esports people aren't respected there. Don't mention my name at all.
Wait. What?
So firstly, let's discuss TJ's response to this, right? Our scene thrives off the drama since grown. Storylines and personalities. We need it now more than ever this year. Need Boston versus New York ASAP. So TJ tweets this out, right? So Crim eventually says to TJ, like, you know, you're a coaster, right? Like, you don't really care too much about winning or losing. Like, I would just straight up called him out. Crim and TJ have always had a fun back and forth on the timeline, even before they teamed, right, in Black Ops 4. But then, well, certainly after that. So TJ says, Crim, you're absolutely terrible. I'm sure you guys can read that one. Can't wait to slap you round one of this kickoff. Just because I don't take triple digits like yourself doesn't mean I don't want to win, he says. So, you know, kind of incredible. Now, I thought this was interesting, right? This tweet has been deleted because I wonder why he deleted this. Either because he thought, okay, maybe that was a bit far, like, let's just calm it down, right? We don't necessarily need the drama. Or because he's basically confirming that he's going to be on this Boston team. Because he's basically saying, yes, we're going to play in the round one of the kickoff. I don't know what exactly the bracket's going to look like, whether they would play this team or not, whether they would play New York or whatever the case might be. But still, TJ is meant to be on the Boston team. Seems like that's pretty much confirming this is very likely to be the case, right? So very entertaining stuff, no doubt. And well, this also continued, right? I'll dunk on you at the local lifetime that hold your hand all the way through. So anyway, I'll just let you guys read this, to be honest, because I did want to touch on the other one when he was about what Doug had to talk about with regard to Daniel Say and the leadership of the CDL in general. The fact that, like, it seems like he was very recently in New York. You've got to wonder if he has too much of a say, pun definitely intended, about well, the direction of the CDL actually going forward and whether he can actually call any shots, right? Because apparently no one respects any of the esports guys. It seems to me that really that the Activision guys in general, which is understandable, see the CDL and see esports as just a marketing tool, which, you know, I kind of get it from the bottom line perspective that the CDL and the competitive leagues are just a way to, okay, yeah, we're making a fair bit of money from all these organizations paying us, but also it's a way to actually promote our game. And okay, you know, fair enough, I understand it. Like, that's kind of the way esports has been started off on, but it's maybe not the way to actually create a very competitive ecosystem for a very long period of time, which actually gives so many more returns in the long term, actually making a good ecosystem. Because at the end of the day, people watching the CDL who are interested in the game know full well by watching what these players have to say, this game isn't very good, they're not going to buy it as a result. If you make a good game and a good competitive ecosystem, then you're actually creating a much better environment than you could be, but still, doesn't seem like they're particularly keen to do that. And Daniel says, you can see right here, whether he can actually do all that much to change things is definitely one, potentially out of their control, right? Because that's what a lot of people say. The CDL, a lot of the guys that people know at the CDL and at the league itself are trying their best, but they just have no resources to do anything from the powers that be above. And well, Simp goes on to say, look, okay, yeah, fair enough. We might have to create some storylines for our own hands. Who should I make my nemesis this year, says Simp right here. And well, certainly some entertaining replies. As a Revitalize said, Atlanta FaZe needs an internal beef where you all split up. That's how deep of a hole COD is in right now. aBeZy and Simp fight over who's the real MVP. Atlanta FaZe splits. Imagine, I mean, that'd be a pretty good video title. Maybe need to bring Simp in as an intern or something to help with some of the content. And well, this also comes out from Standy, you know, FaZe downright from a classic, of course, who took them down at the Stage 5 major. But yeah, Simp isn't, well, not ready to pull some punches on the timeline. Gotta see him back in the league first with the flush face emoji, right? So pretty entertaining stuff, no doubt. But yeah, the players are doing their best to keep things alive. Not sure how much this is going to help in the long term. We definitely need some support from the ecosystem itself. And as I say, I think a fair bit of that might actually come from a decent game coming out. Not sure it's going to happen next year with Modern Warfare 2022. Maybe it comes back to Trek again. Trek have to save Call of Duty for like the third or fourth time in a row. But as well, aBeZy says, I just missed the jetpack era. Take us back to Black Ops 3. I think, well, everyone can kind of get on board with that one. This also from Dr. Disrespect. He, of course, has started his own studio recently. And as he says, I've got 50 map designs ready for Advanced Warfare 2. So, you know, if we need to go back, Dr. Disrespect might get involved. But it's tough to have too much faith in Activision and the executive team to actually make the right calls here for the future of the scene. And that's really why I think the players have understandably thought, okay, maybe we have to take matters into our own hands. And just to finish out with this kind of in a nostalgic sense, which Call of Duty game did you take for granted the most? This is quite an interesting one, right? Because I think some games, the likes of Black Ops 3, like when I was playing this, I knew this game was absolute god tier, right? But, you know, a game like Black Ops 4 maybe, even a game like Infinite Warfare, to be honest, just looking back on the competitive scene of that game, given the way it was treated at the time, does make me think, I mean, wow, yeah, that game was kind of underrated, really. Just looking back at the last few titles we've had, thinking, okay, wow, it's well, we definitely miss the good old days. But very much intrigued to get your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit a like button and tell us YouTube gods, this is a good video. I just like you should see it as well, and help grow or maybe just sustain the competitive Call of Duty community. Thanks for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.
Well, I know, dude. Crim, have you streamed anything Vanguard related that wasn't, or is it all if it wasn't a tournament?
My teammates in. Actually, you know what, Doug? We haven't talked about this. So if Paco gets stuck in France, you want a team?
No, fuck you.
Dude, come on, Porter. Are you serious? You asked him
Hold
over
on,
me?
Porter, deadass though. Have you streamed any
you
Vanguard
gotta it, man. Like, come on, dude.
You know what? I'll grab a fucking
taking care of yourself.
ponytail. I'll be Clay's little brother.